Hey, it's your pal Steve here. Let's see what's going on in the group today. All right, this is a post about CDs. I read it earlier, but it goes on about how streaming is what's happening now. And this poster is upset that CDs are no longer being used or made by musicians, artists. And he blames the auto industry. Here he says, when people tell me they don't own a CD player, a little bit of me dies. The automotive industry is largely to blame for this. It is a crime against art that they decided CDs were finished. They should be held to account for how much revenue they killed for artists. How do you feel about that? Do you think that automakers are to blame, or is it just technology that changed things? Rich Smith said, what is the value of a live musician versus recorded music? I've never really understood it. I'm a musician, not much of a great performer, but I don't understand why people care if the music is live. Is it 100% about bringing a vibe? There's a lot to unpack with that question. There's a lot of comments here, 122 comments. And this is from a couple weeks ago. So this is a still active thread. I would say for me, the live experience is um, definitely about a vibe. It's about an atmosphere. If he's referring to like going to see bands play live, then versus just listening to their album or their songs, um, it's a whole different experience. It's about the experience. It's about the liveness of it. Seeing a great singer or great band or your favorite musicians on stage performing, actually seeing it and hearing it live is something that people value tremendously. You know, um, Definitely non musicians value that a lot. My brother is one who is a big, big music fan, but he's not a musician, but he loves going to concerts. That's one of his favorite things to do in life. So, what do you think? This is a post from a couple weeks ago too. And this poster here was just trying to be kind of a smartass. Um, that was later determined. But this post itself, which you can see here, what's it like to give up on your dreams and play in a band that covers Don't Stop Believing? He was trying to be funny, but a lot of people definitely took offense to that. And there was a tremendous amount of engagement on that post. And this post is just another um, member here who screenshotted it and he said, I seriously doubt many of the players here had dreams of playing covers, but don't degrade cover band players for playing covers that make them money, while you probably complaining bands don't get paid enough and having to have a real job. Bad form, he said. And again, this got a lot of engagement, 233 comments. So I can see how musicians, purists out there think, you know, playing covers is beneath them as opposed to writing your own music. And this is a topic that has come up a lot over the last 12 years since we started Cover Band Central. And one of the reasons, really, kind of that I started it was to really kind of level up the idea of playing covers. Cover bands and cover band musicians have kind of been the black sheep of the musician family to some. But playing covers is ubiquitous. It's been around forever, and it's in many different forms. So there's a lot to be said for uh, the musicianship that it takes to play a cover or to play covers, when you're playing a lot of different styles of music and you have to emulate, different players and different styles. So it takes a lot of skill. And not every musician is a songwriter, and not every songwriter is a performer or an artist. So it's a big world. This is my post from last night, and I talk about this topic a lot. And I say here, people look to advertise their upcoming shows here every day. While it's great that bands are marketing themselves, this is not the target audience. I wrote an ebook and created a master kit that easily shows the best and most effective ways to build your audience online so that you can make the most of your efforts. Invest in yourself and your band so that you can get better paying gigs and have more people show up. I put links to the master kit and the ebook here. And this is something that happens here in the group every day. People come in and advertise their upcoming gig, and this is not their target audience. This is a group of musicians, and it's worldwide. And it's not the people that are actually going to come see you play. So it's really kind of a waste of effort and time. And it's just not smart marketing. And people just think, well, it's a cover band group. I might as well just drop this in here anyway. And again, it's just it in the beginning of this group, that was something that people were doing, and eventually it just cluttered up the news feed with stuff that people didn't want to see or didn't care about. It just wasn't relevant to them. So we made a rule for it, but people don't read the rules. This is a good post. And this is another old one. So you can see that posts in here have a long shelf life. This is from September 5th. Today is September 18th. So this gets a lot of activity, all these posts in here. But this one said, PSA to drummers, the 4-count stick click is to set the upcoming tempo so the rest of the band can follow that very tempo. Not to make sure everyone has set their beer down or to make sure everyone comes in at the same time. Although, of course, it is to make sure you come in at the same time as well. But if you click 160 or 126 BPM, which is beats per minute, the song better be played at 126 BPM. Thank you. Pretty good engagement on this as well. 231 reactions, 110 comments. We don't need to read through all those comments. He makes a good point, and this happens a lot. I've been in bands for a long time where drummers will count off at one tempo and then start the song at a different tempo. So, that's good advice. This is from 3 days ago. Carlos Stein said, I keep hearing about these tip jars for bands. It's not something that we see at gigs here in the UK much, apart from busking. A few of my gigs have been for various charities, which we rarely get paid for. So I'm trying to start the tip jar trend to pay for diesel and maybe a couple of beers or some food. What does a typical tip jar look like? And we got 46 comments here. I don't know if anybody put any pictures in here. Hopefully somebody did. Yeah, here we go. Here's one image. See what that looks like. Okay. This guy did there with the QR code. There's another one. There's another one with lights. It's very good. So I'll say about tip jars. I work in New Orleans, and tipping is part of the culture here in New Orleans for entertainers. Um, it's pretty much understood by tourists that people are going to be asking for tips. Bands, there's street performers all over the place. Buskers that have tip jars or buckets, and it is we rely on it here as part of our income. We rely on tips. We have a couple ways here in New Orleans that we do it. We have a big bucket. It's clear, and it's like one of those big water bottles with the top cut off. One of the big ones, the big jugs that you put in the water machine for lack of a better word. And we cut the top off, put a little sign on it, and we periodically carry it around the room and ask for tips. And we also use a QR code that goes to a tip/request app. And if anybody's interested in that, let me know and I'll hook you up with that. But that has made a considerable difference for us here in New Orleans and making extra money, because a lot of people don't carry cash, and it's fun too for people to scan that QR code, see our song list, and pick a song like a live jukebox right there on their phone. So, but I'm glad Carlos in the UK, I've heard this before about people in the UK, that they just don't understand it because it's just not part of their culture. But that's a good post. All right, a lot of performance videos here. This one I watched yesterday, and it's really good. And this kid playing a John Mayer song, really good. It's nice to see today's youth playing guitar. Justin Davis gives good tips. He said, tip number 24. You have to both know and choose your demographic. It's not enough to just make music and hope people show up. You've got to know who you're talking to, who you're performing to, and who you want to target. Who actually connects with your songs? Who's showing up at your shows? Who's streaming your tracks? That's your demographic. Good advice. You should know your audience. That's a simple way to say that. Not much else new today, but still highly active in the group. If you're not part of the group, join. There's a link in the description, and I'll put links to the ebook and the master kit and all that good stuff in the description as well. And thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.